My fellow citizens and friends of St. Kitts and Nevis, residents, as we celebrate the 27th anniversary of the independence of our country, St. Kitts and Nevis, we have a duty to be honest with ourselves in regard to the progress we have made as a nation and as a people. When we look at the physical environment of our country, it is clear that we have made significant strides and that we have transformed the landscape of our twin island federation. The physical infrastructure of both St. Kitts and Nevis, airports, seaports, and the road systems have developed to levels acceptable within the region. And these have lifted the profile of our country to a significant standard. The educational accomplishments of our students in the secondary and in the primary schools of our country are exceptional when compared with the other countries of the OECS. And it's also arguable that our people who have university degrees, the numbers would easily see St. Kitts and Nevis as having a population with the highest per capita with university education. In academic terms, therefore, St. Kitts and Nevis ranks high in the level of achievement. The quality of our social infrastructure is also commendable. Our health centers, hospitals, schools, and institutions in the private sector are generally modern and attractive and give the country an appearance of modernity. The quality of the private and public sector housing is also noteworthy. St. Kitts and Nevis can boast of some of the most modern, most luxurious private homes and hospitality infrastructure. Our hotels and guest houses and inns are of the highest quality. The question is, at what cost have we achieved this physical development? And have we been able to balance the exceptional academic accomplishments by our students in schools and in colleges with a commensurate social discipline which will provide and maintain an environment in which there will be a stability and harmony for the future peace and prosperity of our nation? Have we paid a high financial price which has left our national finances in tatters, with exceptional high national debt, which has now come to haunt the people of this country, as we now must find ways and means to pay for the high incidence of public expenditure without the consideration for fiscal prudence and the long-term fiscal stability of our country? Have we saddled ourselves as individuals in pursuit of doing better and building bigger than the next person with high cost debt, which has placed serious stress on these resources which could be legitimately generated through employment and entrepreneurship, thus creating a local financial crisis in addition to the external costs or external crisis which has burst the global financial bubble? Ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, the hallmark of a successful nation is whether it could provide the health, education, and social services and so on for the people of this nation at affordable costs, and whether or not it is able to keep the costs of living within reasonable levels, maintain a good quality of life for its people, maintain a level of taxation which does not impose hardships on the people of the country, especially those persons in the lower income brackets, and those persons on fixed incomes such as pensioners. We're able to provide and maintain services for the vulnerable and disadvantaged, especially our children and our senior citizens, at a subsidized cost. If a country is successful, it should be able to provide employment for all of its citizens who want to work and to take care of their families. It must also provide security and protection for its citizens and seek to eradicate corruption and graft from its midst. And it must be willing and able to reduce crime and violence, and to have, in fact, a zero tolerance for crime and violence, so that its citizens can live in peace and safety. My fellow citizens, we have to look at the path that our country has traveled in the past 27 years. And we have to ask ourselves, are we better off than we were last year? Are we better off than we were 10 years ago? Is the state and the status of our country a comfortable one, financially and socially? Are we satisfied with the manner in which our governments have handled the incidents of crime and violence and have dealt with our social problems? Are we satisfied that our governments have managed the finances of our country so that we will not be overburdened with higher property taxes, with an increased cost of living to satisfy revenue measures, to be overburdened by the imminent introduction of the VAT, which, with due respects and deference to what the leaders of government have said, will have the effect of increasing the cost of living and putting serious pressure on the lower income earners of this country. Delaying the implementation of VAT will only postpone the pain and the hardship. It is a matter of record that I have publicly stated in the Parliament of this country that I do not support the implementation of VAT, but would rather have seen a more efficient collection of outstanding revenue and taxes, rather than an increase in taxation on the services, some of which are at present taxed at very low levels, and now some as low as 5%, but with VAT will be taxed at 17%, a more than threefold increase in the tax for these services. As we celebrate the 27th anniversary of independence, we must call for greater honesty in public discourse. The optical illusion and the mirage which the governments of this country have created around VAT, and the unwillingness to accept that the increase in national debt imposes a near paralysis on the country's finances, must leave all of us concerned about the future of our country. We must note as well that after 27 years of independence, our country is still very dependent on the goodwill of a number of friendly countries. It is therefore necessary that our governments begin to make adjustments in their fiscal and developmental policies to return our country to a state of fiscal balance and to relieve the pressure on our citizens. I call on all our citizens to be more vigilant and more discriminating in the manner in which we deal with information from our governments. Let us be aware of the propaganda and the hype which emanate from our political leaders, passing this off as information. Let us be more cautious with our finances. Let us petition our governments for a reduction in the VAT rate if the governments insist on going ahead with a 17% VAT. Let us look at our own contribution to the development of our societies and do what we can to eradicate crime and violence from our midst. Let us commit ourselves to train up our children in the nurture and the fear of God, with respect for the law and love for education and knowledge, so that they can preserve the integrity of our communities and our nation. Let us instill in our children and our youth, especially our young men, a true patriotic spirit, a love for country, and a willingness to serve with integrity that higher cause, and to preserve the peace and security of our communities. Let us also encourage a buy local campaign to give support for local production of food and drink, and to encourage our farmers and the producers of meat so that we can cut down the high cost of imported foods. My fellow citizens, this 27th anniversary is one for serious reflection and adjustment. The past is behind us, but the future is ahead with its challenges and opportunities. And if we face our shortcomings and take the necessary corrective measures, our country could once again be peaceful, harmonious, and economically, financially stable. And we can give our young people hope and confidence. Let me congratulate all of us, citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, on the attainment of our 27th anniversary. And may God bless us all and help us as we face the future. God bless you, and may we have a wonderful celebration.